Drita Hill claims her daughter's father broke their house-sitting agreement when his lady friend moved in. Greg Steins says he's not romantically involved with the plaintiff, and their teen was a handful, so he needed help.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Hill versus Steins. Ms. Hill, you are suing Mr. Steins for $7,200 for breaking your house rules. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Mr. Steins, you say you don't owe plaintiff anything. All right. Breaking your house rules. Well, what are the house rules?
Well, ma'am, Your Honor, my name is Drita Hill, and I'm suing for $7,200 for moving his ex-girlfriend in my home.
Into where?
Into my home. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am. No. We had an agreement. I was going to New York for a job, and it was a high-paying salary job, so I took it. I jumped on it. I was thinking about my daughter's future, our future, you know? And so I asked my sister to take her for a while, you know, spend time with her, whatever. I don't want to uproot her from her family, her friends here, her life.
The case begins with Wels explaining how the dog he was walking escaped the leash and ran straight for the pool. The key issue at the heart of this dispute is the condition of the fence, which Wels claims was negligently built with wide gaps, allowing a dog or even a child to slip through. We can already see that this property has its share of problems. But is this negligence enough to hold the property manager, Mr. Provalone, accountable? And does Wels have a legitimate claim here? Viewers, what do you think? Does a poorly built fence constitute negligence in this situation? Or is Wels just overestimating the risks?
You know,
And this is her father?
Yes.
So you decided that you would stay here, that he would stay here with her?
Well, yeah, after asking my sister, yes.
Okay, with her father?
Yes. I mean,
All
why
right.
not? He's family, better family than stranger.
Absolutely.
So I brought it to him, I called him and let him know, and he agreed, you know, but I told him there's stipulations now. Nobody moving in my home without my permission. I don't know why anyone would, but, you know, without my permission, that's not going to happen. But he can have visitors, guests, 2 nights, the max, you know, not repetitive. And he has a group, like his friends coming, spend like twice a month usually.
You can have a little party of friends, a little get-together.
Absolutely. And so we had agreed to for rent-free. I told him he could come stay rent-free. He didn't have to pay any rent. Besides, he didn't even know if he wanted to renew his lease anyways. So it'd give him time to think about that and spend time with his daughter.
So to be clear, this is your ex-husband?
No. We just had a one-night stand and resulted in my daughter.
All right, so you all were never married. You weren't even really in a relationship when you conceived your daughter.
Correct.
All right. But because you needed to take this job, you decided better her father stay in the house with her. She can be stable in her environment.
Yes.
And you'll go out and get this job. How was this? What was the ending of this? Was she supposed to come and be with you at some point, or was she going to go off to college? How old is your daughter?
My daughter's 18 now, and the whole plan was for her to go to college. She was going to go to Arizona State University.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to uproot her from none of this.
So you say he had a girlfriend in your house, in your house?
That's what my daughter told me, yes.
And you own this house, or you're renting this house?
No, it was inherited from my parents.
Okay, so you own the house?
Yes.
All right, and you say your daughter saw?
Yes, my daughter was the one that called. When the 3rd month, she called me and told me that Dad had moved his girlfriend in.
All right, I want to hear from your witness. Please stand and step up to the podium. Before I get to you, though, so Mr. Steins, this agreement that Ms. Hill has outlined where you were to stay in the house, you agreed to all of the rules, one of which is nobody's staying in her house.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You agreed to it because?
It was a win-win for all of us. I got to spend more time with my daughter. I work about 60, 70 hours a week. Only get to see her on the weekends and, the summertime. So it was a win-win. I get to see her in her senior year before she goes off to Arizona State University. So I thought it was a great solution for all of us, a great situation.
So you agreed?
Absolutely.
So, Brittany, I'd like to come to you and ask you, so how did this start? Did it start off okay, you with your dad at the house?
At first, it didn't start okay because My father preferred eating microwave food, and I'm close with my mom, so she would cook homemade food.
So it was an adjustment.
Yes, and we would get takeouts and microwave food. It wasn't bad at first, but it continued, and I got tired of the microwave and the takeout.
Well, you 18, you're not 8.
Coming up.
It never ceases to amaze me when people get here, they got all the answers. If you got all the answers and running your mouth all day, you could have solved this instead of wasting my time.
Come on now.
And later.
It was his very first walk, and in fact, as a result of this incident, I was fired from the job.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
Here, Wels recounts how he jumped over the gate, entered the freezing pool, and rescued Walter, incurring both medical expenses for the dog and a personal financial loss after being fired from his job. The emotional weight of this testimony is hard to ignore, but the question remains, should Provalone be responsible for these costs? Provalone's defense is clear. He argues that the dog had no business on the property in the first place, especially since the complex had a no-pet policy unless a pet fee was paid. How does this policy impact Wels' case? And can a property manager be held liable for an animal accident even when the rules were clearly stated?
You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Drita Hill, who brought Greg Steins to court over broken house rules.
So anyway, I want to get to the part that is the issue of this suit. Who was in the house?
So my father's girlfriend came in. April helped us around the house. She cooked for us. She did our laundry, so life was easier living with my dad.
Oh, wait, hold on. So you liked it?
Not exactly.
Oh.
I mean, yes, it was nice to have a female's touch around the house, and I could
Hold up, I'm a female?
She's a female.
But you were in there for a year, so I needed a female's opinion and help and support. When I go shopping, makeup and stuff like that, I would get a better opinion from April than my father.
Did she have to live in the house to give you that?
No.
Did you know your dad was dating this woman for an extended period of time, or were you just home one day and all of a sudden, bam, she was there?
My father mentioned he was dating her, but at first she was coming to do these things for us, and she would leave. But I went to my mother's room and I saw her clothes in the wardrobe.
How often did your girlfriend come to the house?
April is a wonderful person. She came over about maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I work 60, 70 hours a week, and so I needed some assistance because my culinary skills and my domestic skills were not up to snuff. And I gladly admit that. So I was going to take any kind of help I could get. So when she wanted to help me out, I said, come on. And she would teach me how to cook certain things that she made that Brittany liked. So I made a concerted effort to try to be more involved in the culinary selections so my daughter could have what she liked.
So
again,
you've never heard of YouTube?
In a microwave.
Well, I use YouTube for electronics and stuff like that, but I think that's an excellent idea, and I should have done that. You're absolutely right.
So the bottom line was, it was a convenience to have this woman here because she was doing all the things you didn't feel like doing. We're here to tell the truth. So just let's call it.
Absolutely.
You enjoyed having a woman around there because she could do all of the things you really didn't feel like doing. What evidence did you bring to court today? Because I think I'm about done with this.
Ma'am,
Oh my goodness.
I have the text messages from me and Greg's situation where we agreed, and how my daughter told me about this girl, April.
Did you bring any evidence to court, Mr. Stein?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What is that evidence?
At this point, Wels presents his evidence photos of Walter the poodle and testimony about the condition of the fence. However, there's a catch. Wels lost his phone, and with it, the pictures of the damaged fence. This is a huge blow to his case. Wels may have had a valid point, but without evidence to back it up, his claims seem less concrete. Viewers, is it fair to lose a case because of lost evidence? Can Wels still win this case with his remaining testimony, or has he already lost credibility?
It's text messages of us corresponding.
Brittany told me you got a girl living there, and she's got a drawer. It's not like that. I'll call you later.
Call
All
me
right.
later.
Hey, thank you for everything. This is a win-win situation. You and our daughter can spend more time together. Oh, this is you setting the situation up and then you texting back saying there's a girl in the house.
I was trying to confront the situation in a proper way, but he's like blowing me off, and then I'm like, oh, what you act like this is little, this is not. But you got to understand, Your Honor, I caught him in bed in our past, with a woman in our home.
So there's the reason. That's the problem.
So this is a reoccurring theme.
Exactly.
So then you were on notice that he was about up to no good. So why in the world would you give him full access and permission to live in your house with your daughter because you were desperate and you needed help at the time because you made a choice to go get a job that you thought would make a better future for you and your daughter? So you were left to either say, I either take Brittany with me and uproot her out of school, I have a stranger move into my home, or I let her father live there.
He's talking about he never spends time with her so much, and I figured it was a great situation.
Got it, and you figured wrong.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because sometimes things look great when you think about them. They look great on paper, but in the actual experience of living it, you find out that that is not as great as you thought it would be. That's what happened in this living situation. You all have not set up a lease. He hasn't broken anything. House rules are something that people, they respect, right? I don't know how you expect a man to respect your house when he's already shown that he doesn't respect you.
I just figured I'd give him a second chance to get right with his daughter.
That was 10 years ago.
But listen, sometimes second chances lead you to realize that there should be no more chances. The court does not find that you had any type of enforceable agreement. The bottom line, you should have just come back, kicked him out, found somebody else to stay with your daughter, but now to try to backtrack and charge him rent because he had the girl sleeping there.
When she told me, I did.
Miss Hill?
Yes, ma'am.
You see what I was dealing with?
Listen, it never ceases to amaze me when people get here, they got all the answers. If you got all the answers and running your mouth all day, you could have solved this instead of wasting my time.
Come on now.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have the answers.
Yes, ma'am.
You trusted that somebody would do something for you in a way that respected you and your home and your daughter. And you know what? They didn't. So you learned a lesson. Worst part is, I think your feelings really hurt because your daughter done sat and testified on your side of the aisle that she liked it. I'm done with this nonsense. The plaintiff's case is dismissed. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Do you have final thoughts with each other?
Oh, absolutely.
He thought
there was never any agreement to pay rent in the first place, so I was how she can enforce it.
Coming up.
Let's not make fun of Walter because it's definitely not his fault.
I'm sorry about what happened to Walter. Yes, I am.
You should pay.
You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. Michael Wels claims he lost a client when a dog he was hired to walk ran through a broken fence and into an icy pool. Aaron Provalone says his fence is fine and the dog shouldn't have been on his property.
Good day, everyone.
Good day, Your Honor.
This is the case of Wels versus Provalone. Mr. Wels, you are suing Mr. Provalone for $532 for unsafe property conditions. And the defendant, you say that you're not responsible. What happened?
I'm a professional dog walker. So on the day in question, I was walking a client's poodle. And unfortunately, at the apartment building, the poodle escaped the leash. It went darting straight for the pool, which does have a fence around it, but it is a negligently built fence because the spaces are so wide that a dog, a child, could fit through. Additionally, the pool was not covered and it was winter. So when the dog escaped, it jumped into the pool. It appeared to be drowning. I went over to the fence and it was locked. I jump over the gate, jump into the freezing cold water and rescue the dog. I had to bring the dog to the animal hospital where I incurred these fees that the defendant is responsible for, given the fence was negligent.
Mr. Provalone's defense becomes more direct now. He points out that the lease clearly prohibited pets without approval, and yet Wels had no permission to walk the dog on the premises. This argument places the responsibility squarely on Wels, who admitted to breaking the rules. Is this where the case turns? Provolone also claims the fence was maintained according to code, even if there were gaps. But does that absolve him from liability if the fence was still risky for a dog like Walter?
How long had you been walking Walter?
It was his very first walk, and in fact, as a result of this incident and the negligently maintained fence and the near drowning of the poodle, I was fired from the job. So I lost an additional $400.
So you live at this particular complex?
Correct, Your Honor.
And you say the fence is not built well?
That's right. The spaces between the posts are so wide that a dog, a child, as happened, easily can slip through.
So, Mr. Provolone, you are the property manager or the owner?
I'm the property manager and owner, and I live at the residence as well. When he signed his lease, he was made aware that there are no pets on the property without management approval.
He knew I was
the
a
lease
dog walker,
clearly
Your
says
Honor.
that. Yeah,
he
but
knew that.
Absolutely, but doesn't mean I gave you permission to walk the dogs or keep the dogs on the property. I feel bad that this happened with the pet, but rest assured, our property is very well up to code.
Does anybody have a picture of the fence?
I certainly do, Your Honor.
I'd like to see that.
Coming up,
Did you bring a copy of the broken?
I didn't. I lost my phone, so the pictures
You
are...
lost your phone. You about to lose this case if you don't have any evidence.
you're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Michael Wels, who blames Aaron Provalone for a dog-walking disaster.
Here is the fence. Seems like a pretty standard-looking fence.
Your Honor, that's an old photo. There were also broken slats at the time of the incident.
Did you bring a copy of the broken?
I didn't. I lost my phone, so the pictures
You
are...
lost your phone. You about to lose this case if you don't have any evidence.
I brought a picture of Walter the poodle, which you can see is a medium-sized dog.
Your Honor, take a look at that dog.
So
Let
for
me
a
first
medium-
look at the lease agreement. This is a no-pet facility. Should you have a pet, there's a $150 fee per month. Did you pay the $150 a month pet fee?
No, Your Honor, because I never had a pet. I don't have any
There
pets.
you go.
I'm a professional dog walker.
Now Provolone presents pictures of the fence, claiming that the slats were not broken at the time of the incident. However, the judge is not convinced. The defendant's position starts to crumble here without clear evidence to back up Provolone's claims. It's difficult to dismiss Wels' argument outright. This is where a lack of documentation starts to hurt both parties. But, ultimately, is the property manager responsible for the accident? Or does Wels' choice to ignore the rules play a significant role in this situation?
But you don't have a pet inside of your apartment.
Occasionally, yes, but I certainly don't have a pet that resides with me.
The bottom line is you thought you lived there and you could use the premises to just walk the dog because the dog didn't stay there with you consistently. You could say that it wasn't your dog.
Correct.
This dog, obviously, was very small. If you look at the picture, the fur on it, if you shave that dog, he'd probably be a little bit larger than a squirrel, and certainly he could pass through those.
Your Honor, the dog is at least 15 pounds.
Let's not make fun of Walter because it's definitely not his fault.
I'm sorry about what happened to Walter. Yes, I am.
This
And
is...
you should pay. You should pay.
Certainly
This
not.
is your dog walking agreement
Yes.
that you had with the client.
Correct.
You had to pay for the vet expenses because you were responsible because the owner believed that you were negligent because their dog got loose.
I just decided to cover the expense.
You just wanted to do that to be a good
Right.
sport.
Correct.
Well, Walter is a cutie, very adorable.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake.
I hate this happened to Walter, but like I said, this isn't Walter's fault. Mr. Wels, this is your fault. You knew that your complex did not allow pets unless you paid the pet fee. You probably would have even had to have an approval of the pet. I'm happy that you went in to save him, but there is absolutely nothing in this testimony or this evidence, even with respect to the way the fence is designed, I don't see it here. That suggests to me that Mr. Provolone or his property was in any way in a condition that would constitute him being negligent. For that reason, your case is dismissed. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Lake,
As the judge delivers her verdict, it becomes clear Wels' case has failed to meet the legal requirements for negligence, The judge sides with the defendant, ruling that the evidence doesn't support Wels' claim of a dangerous property condition. The conclusion is clear: rules were broken on both sides, but Wels was primarily responsible for not following the proper procedures. So, what do you think? Should property managers be held accountable for accidents that happen on their premises, even if the rules were clearly outlined? And does this case serve as a cautionary tale for professionals like Wels who work in situations with gray areas of responsibility? To summarize, the case comes down to responsibility. Who is to blame when rules are broken and accidents occur? Wels attempted to walk a dog on a property where pets weren't allowed, and Provalone maintained a fence that, while not perfect, complied with the code. The lack of proper documentation and the violation of the lease led to Wels losing his case. Justice may not have been served in Wels' eyes, but the court's ruling is clear. Accountability lies in understanding and following the rules. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.